Hello everyone, welcome to the first ever inauguration of the Simply Put show. And I want this show to be a really focused kind of show, kind of like a podcast-esque type of show, where we focus on one topic and we just talk, we just discuss and we just talk about it for quite some time. And so that's what I plan to do, and with the first topic being Rocket League. Now I've really gotten into Rocket League lately. It's been out for a while, I would say. It's been out for about a year. It first was on PS4 and PC, but this year, I keep forgetting that it's not 2016 anymore. In 2016, it came out on Xbox One in around about the summer. I think it was July, something like that. And it's really fun. It's really cool. So I think the best place to start is to actually explain what Rocket League is if you haven't played it. You might not have done. Rocket League is, imagine if all the players on a football pitch were replaced with cars. And that's practically it. That's practically what Rocket League is. Also rockets are involved, hence the name. And you propel yourself with your rocket to speed up and hit the ball into the other person's goal. Another analogy I would say is it's kind of like Pong. In a way, it's like 3D Pong, but with cars again. And you can have 1v1s, like one car against the other, or you can have 2v2s, or 3v3s, or the very cleverly named Chaos Mode 4v4, which is just insane. It genuinely is not a fun time. But that's what Rocket League really is. It's just a fun time. I find it really fun because it's really fast as well. It's fast, it's colourful, it's got all the good things, and the music's great, but we'll get onto that in a second. I think it got the credit it did deserve. I think it's done really well. I think it still is doing really well. I think I had a look at it yesterday. It had 119 concurrent players. 119,000, that's not like 119 people. That would not be the most praising thing to say, but yeah, it's really awesome. It's a really good game. So with all the introduction out the way, and I'm sure you have a pretty broad idea of what it is. It's again, cars replaced by the players of a football pitch, and you're just trying to shoot that ball into the other person's goal. So let's move on to the good stuff. I like to start things with a positive outlook, with an optimistic outlook. So let's talk about the good stuff that is in Rocket League. So the first thing I want to bring up is the music. And oh boy, does Rocket League have some stellar tracks, especially when you start the game. That's when most of the music plays. Unfortunately, none of the music is actually played whilst you're playing the game. It's when you're on the title screen. It harkens back to FIFA, and those sports games where it's like amps you up for the game. I think it's put there for the sake of literally getting you like pumped up for the match before you do it, which is pretty neat. Also, again, the music is stellar. It's some of the songs will stick in your head and you won't even know. I never heard of them. Maybe some people have, but my favorite is Solar Eclipse, and I think that's everyone's favorite. With good reason, because it's the first song that plays when you first start the game. It's not even the main theme. Here's the funny thing, is Rocket League actually has a theme, like an actual song in the game, but it's like 5 songs in, and they were replaced with Solar Eclipses and other songs before it in the playlist, which is very odd. I wonder if they had like a contract saying that we want to be first in the list. I wonder how that came about. But it's quite odd, but again, music, that is a great thing. Let's move on straight away to the unlock system. Rocket League does a really interesting thing with its unlock system, like I haven't seen in any other game now that I think about it. So usually in games, when you unlock something, especially in a multiplayer game, it's either you get a currency or you get items based on your level as you're leveling up, kind of thing. In Rocket League, you get given an item every match, which is weird. It's so strange, but at the same time, it's so genius because it makes every match that bit important and that bit rewarding. Even if you lose, you still get an item. So it's very, very strange, but again, really cool. It's a great design decision that I haven't seen before. And, that being said, sure, most of them are like common items and usually decals, which you're not gonna use because some of them are pretty terrible. But it still feels like you earned something. You know, at the end of the match, it still feels that rewarding experience. No, I actually, now that I try and actively think about it, no other game does that, and I think it's a great touch. Considering that all the items you get as well are cosmetics, there's no like edge you get above other people. It's really well balanced. So yeah, it's fantastic. Great job. And you know, speaking of cosmetics, let's move straight away onto the cosmetics themselves. The great thing about that is, never before have I had so many moments where I'm like, oh, no way, I just got that thing. Oh my god. Moments. You know, it feels like it's mostly in Rocket League you get those moments. And I think that's what really, really adds to it. Perhaps it's also in the way that they're presented. Because at the end of the match, when you do unlock a cosmetic or something, you get a bring, like a nice little chime, and it's shown on screen with colours and animated. It's done very, very specifically, and I think it pays off. It pays off a lot. I also love, speaking of cosmetics, I love the integration of other video games. And what I mean by integration of other video games is that you could get the repulsion gel from Portal as your rocket stream. And that to me is so awesome. I love theming. I love cross, you know, like little Easter eggs and little secrets. I love that stuff. And the fact that it's an actual feature in the game is really cool. It's really good. You can also get the emulsion from Gears of War as your rocket stream. You can get various antennas, like you can get a goat from Goat Simulator as the antenna. It brings so much. And it just shows that they're gamers too. And it's like, ooh, the game creators are gamers as well. Ooh, and it really does bring it together. It's fantastic. Fantastic idea. Again, not many people do. And I wonder why. I wonder, because I haven't done much research into it. Did they get the trademarks for those things? I have to wonder. Or did they have to pay in order to use like the propulsion gel from Portal? Questions. There are questions yet to be answered here. But enough about questions, let's move straight on to training. Usually tutorials are the worst. Like usually they are the utter worst, right? They usually either overstay their welcome or they just don't even teach you the thing they're trying to teach. And it's just usually a boring time. Whereas, you know, now that I say that, I think tutorials are actually really difficult to get down, aren't they? You're trying to get a point across, and you're also trying to not bore the person when you're trying to teach them. If you screw up a tutorial, you kind of screwed up your first impression of the game, essentially. And then the overall player's opinion of the game. But the thing is, Rocket League's tutorial is actually training. You know, because of how the movement system works, with the flow of each button pressed has to be precise, and how you're supposed to hit the ball has to be at the right angle at the right time, and there's a lot of intricacies. It's one of those games where it's easy to learn and it's hard to master, and it reminds me heavily of Meat Boy. How that's easy, you know, everyone knows how to jump and to run, but to perform it like as a flow and at the certain time is actually quite a skill. And the training actually teaches you this, and it does it really well. It also puts you in your place. Like, it won't stop and say, oh, you should have hit the ball at this point. Let me put a grayed out version of where the ball should be hit, and you can try again. No, it doesn't do that. You can retry the step again and again and again until you get it right. And it's like you're teaching yourself how all tutorials should be, in my opinion. Another quick note about the training is that you can actually train whilst you're matchmaking, which is genius. And now onto the chat. Now, it's a fine line to whether or not the chat in Rocket League is a good thing or is a bad thing. Because you know it treads that fine line. You know, but I think it's good. I think it gives you the communication that's not necessary to win a game, but it certainly helps. Like if someone says they're defending, you know that person is defending. I got it means that person is going to take the shot. Stuff like that. Obviously, spamming nice shot when someone scores an own goal is also fun and also hilarious. So there's that. But I also think the fact that you can customize it as well. Like you have a series of quick chats which are designated on your D-pad, And so when you press up, you have a series of 4 options to choose from, or down you have another 4. And the fact that you can customize them to things like Savage and Whoops, stuff like that, is really cool. Any game that bridges that gap of miscommunication without a microphone is really good. But again, that's what Rocket League is. It's a series of finer touches and these little intricacies that the game just shows off that you wouldn't even think about to include, and yet they do. That's part of the reason why Rocket League is that good. Let's quickly have a look at the options menu, because this is probably one of the most rare occasions I actually praise an options menu for being so good. But it's the fact that on the Xbox One version and the PS4, I presume, it has a PC level of customizable options, which you don't usually see. Usually 90% of console options will consist of a brightness scale and a safe area, whereas Rocket League goes that step further and says, you know what, you can turn weapon effects, you can have a FOV slider, which is god foreseen. You've never seen that in a console release. And it even has button mapping. You can map all your buttons to the button B if you really want to. And yeah, it's that little thing that really goes a long way. So before we move on to the bad, I think I don't have much else to say on the good. I mean, there are a few things that I want to touch upon, which are, I love the map variations. You know, and when I say map variations, I'll get onto that in the bad. But what I mean is the weather, like the snowy, night and rainy variants, which are really cool. I like that stuff. It's little details again. And I also like the effect that happens when you actually score a goal. Like, you know, when you score a goal and it like explodes in slow motion, that's really satisfying. It's really cool. I wonder where that came up in development, because it's really, really cool. Really good thing to see. Alright, let's do it. Let's move on to the bad things in Rocket League. So we talked about the good. You know, it's got a pretty good track record so far, but there are some things that really, really get on my nerves. So let's go through them. Alright, the big one. The most controversial thing about Rocket League is the crates and the crate system as a whole. In Rocket League, you sometimes randomly earn these crates, which at the end of the game can be opened with a key. And by the way, these crates hold a random item as part of a series, like a random either decal or car, something like that. Just a random thing can be earned from them. However, okay, that key has to be bought with real money. And there's no way to earn keys in the actual game itself. So this is what I don't get. Like, why? Why is this a thing? On the business side, I get it. You know, money, all that fun stuff. But why not release them as DLC? There's no, like, customer first mentality in this that I don't see anyway, as to why crates are given to you in the first place. And you might be thinking, well, you can trade them, you might say. And yes, you can, but only with other people you invite to your party. And there's no marketplace, and there's no auction house. So again, it seems very contrived and unnecessary. It's just, you either get your crates, you either give your crates away, or spend money. That's it. Those are the only two options. You either give your crates away, or you spend money. And personally, I don't think that's how it should be. That being said, I also get that they give us free updates, and free DLC. But Rocket League, let's get real for a second. If you're gonna do this, it needs to be done in a better way. Like, because from the consumer side, it just looks greedy, right? And that also onto that, why can't we have a way around it? Why can't we have a free key every 3 days, or like a daily tracker, like you've logged in X amount of days, you've got a key, some way to earn them, because there's no incentive other than to get the cool items, to buy them. They shouldn't be given to you in-game as a way to make money. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what you could even do? You can even add daily quests. They always do well. Now that I even think about it even more, why not just let people straight up buy the crates? It's not like loot boxes aren't a thing, because they very much are. Even look at Overwatch. They have a loot box buying system, and that turns out well. And you can't tell me that someone's not gonna do 100 times crate opening spree. Just make it better. Just make the system better, I think. Let's move on to the second bad thing, which is map design. And I'm not talking about the regular maps where they're just flat. I'm talking about the maps where they change the elevation of the ground. And sure, it seems like a good idea, like, oh yeah, that's different. They're not. They just feel really gimmicky. And most of all, they feel really infuriating to play. Like, have you played Neo Tokyo? Trying to get onto that second level is not a fun time. You stay in the air for a good few minutes if you miss the right moment you're supposed to brake or jump over. It just feels so unintuitive. The reason why is because they've elevated the ground. And I think that's where they've gone wrong. Sure, map variants are good and it keeps the game fresh, but elevating the ground or changing the ground's perspective is not the way to go, I think. I think the way to go should be changing the arena shape. Kind of like what happened with the new map Ark, Starbase Ark. You know, whereas I'll try that again. The ground isn't changed, but the walls around it are. It's a lot wider and it's more like a hexagonal, and it really focuses on the wall riding control, and it really works well because of it. Because if you can get that wall ride just right, you can hit the ball into the middle. You know, there's other ways you could do it as well. You could make the map into a dome shape, whereas you know how sometimes you wall ride to the roof in a regular arena, and sometimes you'll just fall like about halfway. You make it on the roof upside down. What if you had a dome shape where you could actually go all the way around? You know, stuff like that. Stuff that changes the actual arena, not the elevation of the ground. And another small one is Wasteland. Even though that's not too bad because it slightly dips. That's not too bad, that one, but it's still not as fun because of that. It feels like a bit of randomness is thrown in there for the sake of being random. Because if you can shoot that ball on Neo Tokyo on that little lip before the second floor, then it has a chance to bounce up and sometimes roll in. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good as a game design point. And that's really it, you know, for the bad stuff. I can't really think of much else. I think it's a really solid game that has a few kinks here and there. So let's move on to the next section, which is the stuff I would like to see. And again, this is just going to go back to the good stuff, is the only thing I would like to see is more stuff. I want more maps or more cosmetics. I don't have any individual ideas, I just want more stuff. I think it's doing good as it is. I don't think there needs to be any other stuff. Maybe get rid of Neo Tokyo. That could be a start. But yeah, that's about it. And for our final section is trivia. Well, that's what I want it to be. I want it to be like a secrets and trivia because I really like this sort of stuff. And here's the thing. I wanna rant for a second about Rocket League's trivia. Trying to find any sort of trivia in this game is a pain. You know, usually on a wiki, they have that little section at the bottom which is dedicated to trivia. Rocket League doesn't appear to have that. And I don't know why, because there is trivia out there. I have scouted some, and I just don't get why. It's a pain. Rocket League, you need to sort out your trivia, because I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed at all. So what I did is I found a Reddit post with a list of trivia stuff. And I haven't read it. I haven't read it. Oh, but I have saved the page, and I will be reading it with you. All right, let's do it. Okay, guys, I have the trivia up. Let's go through it. So the first bit is, nearly all the music in Rocket League was created by the Psyonix employees in some part. Well, I didn't know that. Interesting. I wonder how far that goes. Does that mean one of the geniuses on that development team made Solar Eclipse? Because if that's true, they deserve all the props, not the pops. I mean, they deserve pop. Anyway, the second one. The Octane battle car was originally called Pepe. What? Really? Why? I feel like this list needs some context. Why would the Octane be called Pepe? Is it... That's very odd. I can't even think of a reason myself. I know Octane is like the chemical compound? Something like that. But Pepe? Well, I'm glad they changed it either way. Next up, we got the Skyhawks, AI in season mode, and named after characters from the 1986 film Top Gun. I noticed that. I saw a goose I saw other people I can't quite remember, so I'm just going to say that I remembered them. Yeah, no, I noticed that one. That's a cool one. I like that. Next up we got, even on the slowest days, more than 1 million games of Rocket League are played every day. And that's believable because, as I said earlier, the concurrent people on the Xbox, I don't know if it's for everyone, is 119,000. That's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous amount of people. But it's great. I'm glad it's doing well. Next is, even on the... Well, I've just read that. The crowd on Beckwith Park is actually the entire Psyonix development team, screaming and yelling in the middle of their San Diego-based office. Really? You know, when I looked at the crowds, because you see them from time to time, they just look like circles. I didn't think they were actually textured. Oh no, it just means the voices. Okay. I thought it actually meant it was them, like cardboard cutout versions of them. No. It's just the voices of them screaming and yelling. That sounds about right. I would believe that. That's cool. Fair enough. So the next up we got, the names of Psyonix employees are visible on several battle card decals. I wonder which ones they are. And I wonder if every single one has their own car. That would be neat. If every developer had their own little name on each car. That'd be nice. Next up, DFH Stadium is named after Psyonix founder and CEO Dave Hagewood. I like that. I like that one. That's quite neat. That. Alright, let's move on. The Grog battle car was originally codenamed the Beast Wagon. yeah, I would believe that. The Beast Wagon. Huh, I wonder why they didn't call it that. Because I kind of like the Beast Wagon more now. Yeah, the Beast Wagon's my main. Next up, the X-Devil is a subtle homage to the card Devil Z from the famous Wangan Midnight anime. I can't say I've seen it. And that sucks. And you know what's even worse? I haven't even heard of it. Wangan Midnight anime. Damn. Well, the fans of animus, that's always a plus. Next up, the rock music from DFH Stadium was created by Psyonix QA manager Greg Nichols. That's pretty cool. I do like that. I do like the music. That's pretty cool. And finally, the hip-hop music in Urban Central was created by Psyonix esports and events manager Josh Watson. So basically, you see, I like this list a lot, but I gotta say, your last two was number one. Your nearly all music in Rocket League was created by Psyonix employees. You've just reused 3 things, and that's cheap. But I like it anyway. I like that list. It was great. We had fun. We learnt a bit. We like our trivia, don't we? Alright, well, thank you so much for watching, everyone. And even though you weren't watching, you were listening. I'll try that again. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, it's been a bumpy one, this first episode, but it's been fun. And I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a like too. Why not like it? And subscribe for when I do more of these on, hopefully, more topics. That's it. That's the best outro you're getting. Get out of here. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.